Order than that.
And you can jump right into the game.
Okay.
Yeah, the character creation is if you like your characters are done, then by all means go ahead and get your game started.
My characters are right here.
There you go. Well, then make sure that everyone has then take the time
They
to
can collaborate on who takes which piece of paper.
There you go. Perfect. With that in mind, it is 5 o'clock. And we are going to go ahead and announce, if you haven't, the title of your game, where it can just be Untitled Game I Made. The general idea of your game, the mechanics of your game, and how you incorporated all of the amazing suggestions into your game. And whoever wants to start, they can. If anybody wants to jump up and be the first brave soul before I call on someone, I'll do it.
All right. I'll do it.
All right.
So, I don't know why. I think there's a movie called Once Upon a Time in the West, and so this is Once Upon a Time in the Pacific Northwest. So, obviously I had modern art, and I had Weird West, so this is kind of like a post-apocalyptic Mad Max Seattle that has returned to kind of the way of the gun, the Wild West. It's weird because there's also a lot of mystical powers and occult magic and weird monsters and everything, as there is in the post-apocalypse. My mechanic was rock, paper, scissors, so I have the resolution mechanic is choosing one of these symbols secretly and going against the GM to see if you resolve what you want to do or not. Each character has perks for certain types of actions that they can choose more tiles into their selection to have better odds at beating the GM. There's also a little bit of character creation. You get to make some choices about what those things are. My heroes and icons were the Theologian, which became one of my characters, and Statue of Diamond, which is kind of the whole faith structure of the world, is this giant diamond statue that grants us all our powers. And the players at my table will be seeking out that statue today.
Great. Next, who wants to?
Okay.
All right, Alex.
All right, so I've got a game that involves alternate native origin stories and cultures, and I've spent this entire time trying to think of a pun involving that in modern art, and the best I could come up with is Jackson Potlatch. The players will take on the role of deities and heroes in this alternate creation landscape. There will be ways that the heroes will ascend to the heavens and eat from the urn of unyielding happiness. And there'll also be ways they cause the world to reset once more as the dire sun consumes all in flames. But each person will have a secret class. They will either be a benevolent deity and force, a neutral one, or a trickster seeking to cause the burning. And the way scenes start, these legends, everyone will have to draw a pictograph of varying quality, and that'll be the legend's title.
All right.
Okay, so my working title right now for this one is fandom. So for modern art, everything that we consume can be considered modern art. Television, movies, books, tabletop role-playing games, board games are modern art. So your characters are patrons at one of the many great museums here in the Seattle area. And some scientific ne'er-do-well decided to set off a particle accelerator, and all of the museums have been sucked into a quantum vortex. Your player characters are attempting to escape this museum that's been sucked into a quantum vortex. So you will randomly generate the museum hall you're in, what is in there by talking about the art that is in that museum, the traits and flaws associated with that art, and it will occur on a non-linear, and every time it will be a random point in the timeline, the 10 days, a random location, and you are assisted by a holographic docent named Anis, a busybody ghost of Leonardo da Vinci, the artist-scientist, and you are justifying the art to Gwendorthel, the deity of pigments, who is going to tell you why the things that you like are not art.
All right. James or Emma?
Sure, I can go.
Yeah.
Let's call it What Happened to New Seattle.
So you play an intrepid crew that has journeyed to a far-off planet to discover what happened to the colonists who have stopped communicating with ground control. When you get there, the only evidence you'll have as to what happened to them is art left by what could only be an alien race. It is up to you to decipher that art before you succumb to whatever happened to the colonists. It's going to be very stressful, with some horror elements, but also nice art.